somebody who was even diagnosed with a terminal diagnosis of cancer twice in her life, and she's recovered. Yes, she had low dose chemo in Germany, I think it was, but she worked on her emotions, and she also massively alkalized the body. I'm sure she did loads of other things as well, because generally people really immerse themselves into this world. But things like that have impressed me, and certainly it's fascinating being around people who have changed their lives, because they're positive, they're inspiring, and they give us all that liberation to be much more of ourselves, to free ourselves that little bit more. So it doesn't matter whether you believe it or don't believe it, it's whether you feel drawn to that person and their energy, and whether it's giving you the permission to be that little bit more. It's rather than Marianne Williamson quote. Anybody remember that one? Because I can't. Why did I even say it? Help me, help me, help me, help me. It is not our dark that most frightens us. It's our light. We are powerful beyond measure. Yeah, right. Your being small does not serve the world. Shine. The more that you shine, you unconsciously liberate others. That's the part that is really good. So the more that we step into our hearts and allow ourselves to just live, we could say live your dreams, but live. It's like when I took my client to the graveyard. What is it that, it's almost like I'm taking him to the end of his life. Okay, now you have an opportunity that you can't stop this process. This is going to happen to us all, but what the great thing about it is you get to fill in the big chunk before this point. What is it that you want to experience? What is it that you really would like to share with the world? Because very often people get to the end of their lives and they will say, they will have regrets. Oh, I should have done that when I was younger. Or I just wish I had more confidence. Or I wish I'd worried less. It didn't happen anyway. All that worrying just didn't help me. Those are things that are powerful. And there's something in NLP called a presupposition. So that's presupposing that something will work. You take it for granted. And one of the presuppositions of NLP is studying excellence, modelling others who have achieved your outcome. So whatever it is, whether it's losing weight or giving up smoking or getting better, becoming more confident or overcoming health problems, it would be studying other people and modelling them. So doing something that they've done. Rather like somebody who's lost weight. And they've lost a lot of weight. What have you done? What have you done? What did you do to do that? Well, and they will tell you there'll be things that they did. And there's a great possibility that if you model and you do the same things that they do, you're possibly, more than likely, going to get the same outcome. If you're not going to get the same outcome, you're going to be pretty close to it. Now, of course, everybody's different. Everybody's bodies is different, and everybody's personality is different. But modelling of excellence is really great. So find somebody who's got what it is that you would like to be experiencing, and find out what it is that they did. Find out what they did daily. What is it that they thought about? What actions did they take? What did they spend their money on? What did they spend their time doing? There's huge amounts of things that we can do, and we don't. We have 24 hours in a day, and very often we'll say, I don't have time. And I appreciate that some people's lives, or a lot of people's lives, are very busy. But in the studying of people who have achieved their outcomes, they have such a clearly defined outcome that everything else dropped into place because they had that goal, or they had that vision, or they had that reality very much within inside of them. And they also cultivated a lot of the now as well. So it's a blending of that outcome, but not wanting it so that you're unstill right now. You're moving towards your outcome with as much stillness as possible. So you're taking your steps in life with as much presence and stillness as you can. And I work pretty much in the way of taking small steps. Maybe a small step was you coming here to me. Maybe another small step will be making some change in your life that you've been putting off, and you decide to do that and make a commitment to it. Anybody got anything that they want to change? Everybody, of course, yeah. Because we're always changing. But we can learn to become more mindful. Certainly there's something that I learned which was the ultimate success formula, and it was a 4-step plan. Right, I really want this is going to be great. Once I've got this formula, I'm set. And that is, clearly define your outcome. Clearly define what it is that you want to be experiencing. Clarity is power. So really understanding what it is that you want to be experiencing and going into the vibration of what will that look like? What will it sound like? What will it feel like? And also, what will it taste like? What will it smell like, possibly? But our modalities of experiencing the world through our senses, the 3 biggies are vision, what we see, what we hear, and what we feel. And those are different within some people. Some people are more auditory, other people are more visual, other people are more kinesthetic. They actually feel the world more than they see it or hear it. Their primary modality is feeling the way through their life. But the more that you feel and see and hear your outcome, the more that it has to really show up in your life, because you're giving the energy to that. And like attracts like, and what we give out, we get back. So it's a reflection. So the more that you can go into your outcome, and as if you've already got it already, the more that energy is going to be drawn and matched towards you, because it just can't help to. It just feels like it's meant to. There's no fear in the vibration, because you're there already. So clearly define your outcome. Step 2. You're paying attention, because I'm giving you this is like, you know, 4-step, ultimate 4-step program. Step 2 is taking action towards that goal. Taking action. Now that can be big steps or little steps. I work a lot with small steps, but take action. That's just step 2. Now we have to overcome our fears in order to take that action, but if you make them small steps, it won't produce too much of a charge within your unconscious mind that will just go, oh, I can't do that. You're just making small steps. Take your steps. Step 3, assess if you're nearer your goal or further away from your goal. Step 4, if you're further away from your goal, change your approach. Oh, question, yes.
How many people actually can come to you and present you with the outcome they actually want?
Quite often, because they come and say what they don't want. They'll say, well, I just want to give up smoking. Or, and yeah, okay. What seems to be the problem? I just can't stop. What would you like? Well, I just like not to have a cigarette. What is it that you would want? What? What is it that you want? Well, I just don't want to smoke anymore. No, what is it that you want? Don't you tell me what you don't want. I don't want to smoke anymore. Yeah, I don't want to smoke either. What is it that you want? Oh, I want to be a non-smoker. So, it depends. I see some people for a few sessions. I see some people, a lot of people I will see for 5 sessions. But I can work for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 sessions. I generally don't work more than about 30 sessions. But most people who come to see me are pretty sure what it is that they don't want, which gives you an idea of what it is that they do want.
How long do sessions last?
I do an hour for a session. But when people have come to see me, they understand that it's going to be an investment, so it's a financial cost, which is also a big motivation for the unconscious to change. Because if you're doing this and paying money, it's massive amounts of pain to not changing. So, but the majority of people who do come to see me are, I'd say probably 80%, are actually kind of small issues. They appear big, Give you an example without breaking confidence. Somebody wanted to change their job, then they were really stuck in their job. But they kind of wanted to change their job, but they wanted to be able to stand up to their boss. And they were massively stressed, and it had affected them and given them some health problems. And they wanted to get some work-life balance in their life. And within 5 sessions, she was able to stand up to her boss and ask her boss what it is that she wanted. And she was able to communicate much better with people at work and home life and lots of things, really. And she said she'd been through counselling before, and it hadn't enabled her to overcome the fear of putting her needs first. And she felt really guilty about doing that. So in order for her to feel even better about herself and to have more peace in her life, she needed to take action. And that taking of action, working at a conscious level, wasn't really working for her. So we did 5 sessions. She might well come back in the future and have more sessions. Generally, I see people with who've got serious disease, I see them for a lot longer. Me, myself, I've immersed myself in it for a long time, but I had 30 sessions and paid for them. But I had bought into the idea of that the mind and body were connected, and I didn't know who else to see. And I was getting quite desperate, so although it was a financial cost, the cost of not doing that, and my health was worsening and getting in a bad place, and depression. I mean, I'm very lucky to be here because I had such chronic depression that I did try and take my life at one point. And then, what's that cost? Well, your life. So it was, I will see some people who are very desperate, but it's unfortunate sometimes that people get in such a desperate place that they are hoping that 5 sessions is really going to fix them. And in a desperate place, it's sensible, really, that it's not going to be all fixed within 5 sessions. We're talking about overcoming lifelong chronic issues, and people who I've said who've changed their lives and have immersed themselves in this. They haven't given their power away and said, okay, you heal me. Actually, all healing is self-healing. So you are facilitating that lack of beingness within inside of them that they feel that they can't heal within inside of themselves. And I've seen this time after time after time, and people have overcome all different types of things. I was even watching Russell Brand on the on BBC Parliament or something like that yesterday, and he's given up hard drugs, and he's done that he's stayed clean for a long time. And I just like what he had to say. And he was saying, addiction, which is something else that I help people with, addiction is a disease. It should be seen as disease. It's a health issue. And again, we're talking about a lack of stillness. So they are self-medicating, whatever that addiction is, they're self-medicating because there's a lack of stillness within. It helps them to become more present, or it escapes them out of the present or the past or the future, and gets them into a nice place. But you're always working with the lack of beingness inside somebody. It's the inner wantings that you're helping people to resolve. I had another part of me, I had autoimmune disease, so I was on a ward with people who've got lupus and who had, I remember being in a bed next to a nice guy, but he had lost his arms and his legs. And he wasn't in a good place at all. And I just thought, well, that's going to be me one day, or something's going to go, because no one's telling me what's wrong with my immune system. Why is my immune system broken? It's just broken. Can you tell me? Nobody was telling me, and all they wanted to do was give me drugs. I started to understand that the immune system is heavily compromised when we're in stress. It doesn't work as well. What if we're in states of constant stress all of the time, even when we're meditating, even when we're just doing washing up, or even when we're going to work, or we're doing whatever?